Hello, everybody. It's currently Thursday, April 20th, and I'm making a video for class for next week. So our next week's class is our final class meeting. It's our 3-day, 2-night overnight field trip to Rocky Mountain National Park. It's also our final assessments. There's a lot of moving parts going on in this weekend or next weekend, so I thought I'd make a video just to hopefully clarify and streamline what's going on. So I want to do a little week 3 overview. So just so you know, our final class meeting is April 28th through April 30th. On day 1, we're going to meet on campus at 8 a.m. and drive to Rocky Mountain National Park. In the morning, then in the afternoon, we're going to do an advanced snow school in an area called Hidden Valley. Day 2, we're going to do a full day objective in Rocky Mountain National Park. Probably do an early morning start. We call those alpine starts. Maybe get up in the dark, pack up camp, and hit the trail early. Day 3, we'll do a short objective in Rocky Mountain National Park, 2 to 3 hour objective, then we'll return to campus to deissue gear and take the final assessment. So that's the overview or the big picture flow of next week. Just a few things. The practical exam I may assess throughout the weekend, just like with the knots earlier. It'll be pretty informal. I may come up to you around camp and ask you to demonstrate competency in a couple skills. Rope coiling, knot tying, and some basic anchor constructions would be some things that I would ask for on the practical. So day 1 in detail. Day 1 has, we have a lot to do on day 1, and so I thought I would kind of flush it out in detail so you can know what to expect. So we'll meet at campus at 8 a.m. We'll pack up climbing gear and overnight gear. So there's a lot of overnight gear available to rent from Red Rocks. This includes tents, sleeping bags, sleeping pads, stoves. You can get that stuff from campus. And then we'll pack up all the climbing gear we need for the weekend at Rocky. That's going to include ice axe, crampons, helmets, harnesses, ropes, snow anchors like pickets, prussics. So a whole bunch of gear. It'll be a pretty involved pack out session. We drive to Rocky Mountain National Park. We're going to meet at the Visitor Center, and I'll go over all this stuff in class on Friday, but just so you know, we're going to meet at a Visitor Center. It's called the Beaver Meadows Visitor Center. It's by Estes Park. It's not the Visitor Center on the west side of the park, so make sure you plug Beaver Meadows Visitor Center into your phone. And we'll drive to the campsites to set up camp. We're going to be at the Moraine Park Campground. It's about a 10-minute drive from the Visitor Center to the campground. We'll set up camp, and then we'll spend the afternoon at Hidden Valley for that advanced snow school. Things that we'll cover in that advanced snow school will be kind of some steeper techniques for climbing steeper snow, and I want to get everyone making snow anchors and learning how to belay off of some snow anchors. So that's day 1 in detail. Day 2 and day 3, I haven't decided exactly where we're going yet, so I'll kind of flush those details out as it gets closer. So some course logistics I also wanted to touch upon because there's some things due. You'll probably want to get a jump start on before next class. Your research papers are due on May 3rd. There's a rubric on D2L, so you can read up on that rubric if you're not sure. Because I got a student request about setting up a Dropbox, I set up a Dropbox account on D2L, so you can submit that paper to me on D2L. They're due May 3rd at 11:59 p.m. So the syllabus says email them to me, and we're going to go ahead and change that. It's probably easier for everyone if you just submit them via Dropbox. So I'm still learning the ways of D2L, so you got to bear with me every now and then. Weekly reading for this week. So in the Dave Roberts book, you'll want to read the first story. The page numbers, depending on which edition you have, they're gonna vary. But it's the first story in the Roberts book. It's called Deborah. It's his first expedition up to Alaska where he climbs a peak named Deborah. And then there's some reading in the Alpine Climbing book too, pages 196 to 232. That reviews a lot of the snow climbing, crampon technique, ice axe use that we covered last week, but it'll also go more in depth for some of the steeper snow climbing techniques that we'll cover this week. And then final assessments this weekend as well. It is part written, part practical. We'll do the written part back on campus and the practical in the field. I updated the study guide, and it's on D2L. Due to the ratio issue, the first week of class, we didn't cover everything that I was hoping to do. There's just a few small items that I took off the study guide because we hadn't talked about them yet. And I have made some updates to D2L. I'll go do a flyby of D2L before I close this video off. So some Rocky Mountain National Park logistics. There's a whole lot of gear. Be really diligent with signing it out, and we want to make sure everything that comes out goes back. We have climbing gear, camping and cooking gear, and because of this, I made a discussion board on D2L where you can brainstorm gear. So not everyone has to bring a tent. You can make tenting groups. You can make excuse me. You can make food groups if you want to prep your food together. I gave you that little handout on some food, but if you want to make food, if you want to kind of pool your resources and make, one group of 4 can be a cook group, and a group of 5 can be a cook group. So you kind of sort that out on your own. You can use a discussion board to help streamline that process. So for food, you're gonna need 2 dinners, 2 breakfasts, 3 lunches, and snacks for 3 days. Like all out courses, we're not going to take a real formal lunch break. So your 3 lunches and your snacks can kind of blend together. Maybe you make 3 sandwiches for the day, but still have plenty of snacks, trail mix and bars and fruit, things like that. Make sure you have plenty of food for those 3 days. So we will be car camping at the Moraine Park campground. So we'll be driving to the campground and unpacking and setting up our camp. You don't need to sleep in a vehicle. We have plenty. Red Rocks has plenty of tents folks can borrow. If you want to sleep in your vehicle, you're welcome to. But we won't be hiking to set up camp, which means you can bring a cooler if you want to bring a cooler. You can bring a grill if you have a small little hibachi grill if you want to grill steak or chicken or something for one of the nights. So coolers, grills, 2 burner stoves. If you have a big stove you want to bring, that works. As far as there will be fire pit there. I'm not sure if there's going to be a fire ban or not. If somebody wants to bring wood, they're welcome to bring wood. And there are outhouses at the campground. Last year there was not running water, so we'll want to fill up water jugs on campus, and I'll probably bring a few from here as well that we can fill up. So make sure to bring water or have some system to deal with water, because my guess is right now the pipes are currently turned off. The campground is probably pretty snow free right now, but all that could change in the next 8 or 9 days. There's a cold front sweeping through the state right now, so it's supposed to snow here in Leadville, maybe 5 to 6 inches tonight, and so I bet Rocky gets some snow as well. So that's the camping scene. I made a map on CalTopo. This map, here's a link to it. It's also available on D2L. I'm not going to click on this link now. I'll just show you the map in D2L. And then this PowerPoint presentation is going to be on D2L as well, so you can review any of those logistics if you want to look at it at your own time. So that's it. I did want to show you some things that I've been doing on D2L. Let me just flip to to the screen mode. So this video, if you found it, you've already been to the announcements page. It will be posted in the announcements. Do check the announcements page next week, because I'll probably post a few more announcements before we meet up for class. So over here in the discussion section, here's a Rocky Mountain gear discussion. So feel free to use the discussion board to plan out meals and discuss camping and group gear. Open discussion, feel free to use this as a resource if you want. In the content section, did post an interview with David Roberts from Alpinist. He's currently pretty sick with throat cancer, but it had him reflecting upon some of his past climbing experiences. There's a quiz if you want to print it out or type it as a Word doc and hand it to me next week. Here's a PowerPoint, and then CalTopo map. So I made a CalTopo map as an overview of Rocky. So you can see, let me zoom in again. This is being nice and annoying. So here's a visitor center. Here's the gate. Here's our campground. The Hidden Valley trailhead is over here somewhere. Here's a Hidden Valley trailhead. It's essentially Trail Ridge Road. This is where we'll be doing our advanced snow school on Friday. And then let me see if I can zoom out without going crazy. Bear Lake Trailhead is probably where we'll do our shorter objective on Sunday, and most likely where we'll do our longer objective on Saturday. So this map is here for you all to see. You can open it up in Caltopo just by clicking on here. You can also click on the link on the PowerPoint if you want to change the overlays, look at slope angle shading, or look at the hybrid satellite. Seems like many of you are pretty savvy with Caltopo, so it's a super cool resource. I think that's it in the content section. Extra resources, and then in the rubric section is the updated study guide. So you want to make sure to read through that. If you have any questions about that, feel free to email me or bring them to class on Friday. And there's also the term paper rubric for the research paper, which is 25 points, 25% of your grade. Research topics, feel free to email them to me. Many of you have already, but email me some more topics, and I'll take a look at them and get back to you. But that's it. Thanks for bearing with me. It's a long video, 12 minutes, but hopefully it cleared up a lot of a lot of the moving parts that we're going to be dealing with. I'm really looking forward to getting out there with everybody, and we'll see you on campus at 8 a.m. on Friday, April 28th. Thanks so much.